The story takes place in a world where the human race is nearing extinction at the hands of the beasts. Humans are incredibly scarce and beasts are rampant. In Island 28, in the town of Grimchal, a blue-haired girl named Kathleen chases a cat that has stolen her necklace. Cornered, the cat attacks Kathleen, causes her to fall off. A cloaked man named Willem rushes to her aid and cushions her fall, saving her life. The cat flees. Kathleen notices the crowd around her, wondering what the hell she's doing here since she has no fur like the rest of them. Before she leaves, Willem holds her hands and gives her back the brooch. Willem then takes her with him and buys her a nice-looking hat. He also reminds her that this is no place for tourism as there are no specialties for those with no horns, fangs or fur on their skin. At night, Willem visits his friend Grick, who lands him a job as a military facility. As Willem refuses, Grick tells him to get a life, make some his debt-ridden lifestyle behind. Willem accepts and remarks the coffee is a little salty. Approaching the facility, Willem is attacked by a little girl and ends up falling off into the river, cushioning the girl's fall. Shortly before Catholic, he finds them after he gets cleaned and wears his uniform. Willem meets the maid Niglotho, the man-eating troll, as she invites him in. Niglotho covets Willem's human flesh and remarks that he's a rare feast in her eyes. After she serves him tea and biscuits, Niglotho asks Willem if she can eat him. Willem tells her to knock it off and get down to business. Willem is briefed about the job and learns that he has to take care of the weapons warehouse more. So he learns that 2 caretakers before quit the job before their first day even started. However, Willem doesn't want to quit a job he's landed. As Willem inquires about the kind of weapons he's supposed to look after, Niglotho catches the little girls in the facility eavesdropping and tells them to go to bed while ending her conversation with Willem. Shortly after, Willem enters his room and lies in bed. He then catches the girls spying on him, after which he shushes them and let them in. The girls introduce themselves: Colin, Painable, Tyet and Lakash. Dying of curiosity, the girls ask Willem some frivolous personal questions which Willem happily answers, earning him their admiration. Kathleen chimes in and has the girls go to bed. Willem asks if this is the warehouse he's supposed to take care of, which carefully confirms. Willem then asks where are the weapons he's supposed to be looking after more, so he asks what the hell those little girls are doing in a military facility. Kathleen reveals that she and the other girls are the weapons he's hired to take care of. The next morning, Willem gets to know Kathleen's friends, the boisterous Ithiath and the capricious Nephron. After, Willem treats the girls to a meal and makes them some cream caramel. As he watches them play, a girl named Almeida falls off the cliff as she gets the ball, much to Willem's horror. Willem checks on her, however she's alive but nonchalant about her wound and blood-stained face, shocking Willem. Willem comes to realize that all the girls don't care about their lives and asks Niglotho what the hell they are anyway. In order to answer his questions, Niglotho takes Willem to the basement where she reveals sizable magical swords belonging to human beings called dug weapons. Willem recognizes them as the swords only brave humans could use to fight off the 17 beasts that attacked 500 years ago. Those little girls or leprechauns or fairies imitating humans. Now that the humans are gone, those girls are the ones who can wield those swords, which is why Willem needs to take care of them. Days later, Willem welcomes back at the end a worn-out Catholic who were on a mission fighting beasts with the dug weapons, which he is tasked with returning to the vault. On the way back, Nithya asks Willem if it gives him the creeps to look after weapons more like fairies, adding that fairies are disposable more so they wield relic swords belonging to the dying race of humans. Willem suddenly halts after recalling a girl he knew a long time ago whom he owes a great deal. If he reminds him of that girl, hearing that, Ithia starts thinking Willem is confessing to her, but Willem reminds her he's carrying a sleeping girl now. At the infirmary, Tholi wakes up to find Willem by her side. She asks Willem a little nicer to her why, because according to her prediction the island will undergo a powerful air attack in 5 days, as it cannot be fought off by fairy girls wielding humans' dug weapons. Later that night, Willem starts skirts about time re-attacks. To know more about the frequency and timing of those attacks, Nephron drops by and offers to help. The next morning, Kathleen wakes up feeling bad about asking Willem to be a little nicer to her. The previous night she walks in the record room to find him with Nephron sleeping in his lap. Willem tells her he was trying to find another way to avoid the time re-attacks. Kathleen thinks it's impossible. Only way to stop the attack is by fighting back. Willem opens the curtain, tells her to lighten up and asks if she wants to spar with him outside. The two are to duel using dug weapons. Kathleen activates her sword and lunges at Willem, but Willem blocks her attack, sending her flying backwards. Incredulous, Kathleen attacks but fails once more. Willem explains that his dug weapon used Kathleen's power. It hit her blade, which is why she was sent flying. Much ration. Willem then taunts her in telling her there's only so much she doesn't know about dug weapons and that there's another way to fight off the impending attack other than swinging her sword with brute force. Cantankerous, Kathleen dashes into him. The two exchange more blows. Eventually Kathleen loses as Willem commands her for her instincts but tells her to change her fighting style to survive, instead of going kamikaze like the fairies before her killing herself. grain from using the dug weapon. Willem collapses with blood coming out of his mouth. 500 years earlier we find out Willem was battle a beast. The beast intends to enter a slumber for a century but doesn't want to give Willem a quick and peaceful death. After the beast implodes, Willem gets frozen and cursed as he hopes his friend would forgive him. Back to the present. Willem awakes to find a worried sick Nglotho by his side. Nglotho asks Willem why his organs and muscles are so weak, more so his bones are susceptible to breaking, which Willem shrugs it off. His scars from the past. Later that evening Nglotho reveals to the fairies that she found Willem along with a group of explorers frozen in a lake, which she attributes to a petrification curse which paralyzed him. After she transported him to her island he woke up crazed, wild and reserved. Furthermore, Willem was the sole survivor of the whole human race. Therefore Nglotho tells the fairies not to hate or fear Willem, prompting the fairies to swarm Willem as if he were a celebrity in their midst. After the kids clear out, Ethan teases Willem and wonders why a human would care so much for another race by risking his life for no real reason if he just finds it disgusting. Willem replies it's natural to care for cute kids, especially if they're girls, to which Ethan argues that they are only cute in appearance and that they're all girls, so gender is beside the point. However, Willem remarks their appearance as attractive. An attractive appearance is a manifestation of one's desire to be loved. That desire is why they're attractive to Willem. This applies to the fairy girls as a race. Ethan takes it the wrong way, remarking that Willem is in love with them. Kathleen silently takes off, spreads her butterfly wings and flies away, devastated by her thoughts and memories. Kathleen decides to let go and fall to her death. Before she can do so, a ship happens to be passing nearby and picks her up. In the ship, Officer Limeskin treats her to a warm drink and asks why she was out in the wind alone. Kathleen explains she just felt afraid of dying, and frustrated about how Willem told her that her fighting style is wrong and that she should adopt a different fighting style, which means that the old fairies died in vain, something Kathleen fears and finds hard to accept. Limeskin laughs and gives her a word of wisdom that she as a warrior should have some resolve and brains. That was what Willem wanted for her. Afterwards Kathleen reminds Willem doing some maintenance on her dug weapon. Welcoming her back, carefully remarks that no one can disassemble a dug weapon without the wielder's permission, but she's proven wrong when Willem succeeds in doing so. Kathleen then learns that dug weapons are made of talismans that are put together in the shape of a sword. Each talisman has its own function. Kathleen marvels at their beauty as she flicks a floating talisman. That talisman, as Willem explains, prevents its wielder's tongue from burning from hot drink. The one next to it functions more like a compass. It lets its wielder know where north is and where south is, even in a place they've never been. There are also talismans that prevent the wielder from having nightmares when having a cold. All of those talismans are magically connected, as they can cause a complex reaction which gives them entirely new effects. Kathleen then brings up her conversation with Limeskin. Willem promises to do anything for her if she succeeds in fending off the air attack, but excludes the wish of starting a romantic relationship. All the talismans are connected now. Willem reassembles the sword and tells Kathleen to come back alive no matter what. The next day Willem tells Rick how it's been going with his job so far. Ithia, Kathleen, Nephron are sent out to stop the impending tech. Thanks for watching. For part 2, make sure to subscribe and drop a like, especially for more recaps on all your favorite anime shows you don't want to miss. Bye bye.